everyone. It's Michelle Howe. I know it's still showing it's working, but I know I'm on. This is how it all goes. Um, it's Friday. It's Friday. Um, if you're watching a replay, do at replay. It's not probably going to be Friday, but today it's a beautiful day. I'm in my office. It's a little cool down here, so I'm cutting out a little early. But before I cut out for the weekend, I wanted to touch base with you and see how everyone's doing. So if you are live watching this, can you please, comment, write, let me know you're here. I always like to know somebody is listening to what I'm saying, at least live, right? But it's okay if you're not, and this is afterwards. I wanted to come on and talk to you because I had to do a webinar this week for some professionals, and it was called Dealing with Fear. And the more I prepared for this webinar, hi George, the more I prepared for this webinar, the more I was just dumbfounded by the amount of fear that really we deal with on a day-to-day basis. I don't even know that we recognize that it's fear, it's just there. So it's like on the menu. I'm like, turn on the news, it's on the menu. Look at something going on in the world, or think of something. I think our mind goes to what could go wrong before it goes to what could go right with something. So somehow we seem to lean towards the critical, the negative, the lens of what's wrong in the world, which of course there are things that are quote unquote wrong, which if we can just change the way we look at it, it's not really wrong. It's not to our liking. It's not our choice. It's not, doesn't make sense. So fear comes in many, many different forms. So what we think matters, because also fear is a feeling, and the feeling to some people, it's like this exciting, adrenaline feeling. But too much fear, hi Anna Gill, too much fear, and where are we? We're miserable, we're depressed, we're overwhelmed. It's too much stuff, right? Too much on top of everything else that we have. So, hi Lorian. Hi, honey. I love the little girl. She's got my collar on, she's got the pink on. So, what are we going to do with this? Our own fear versus the fear that's on the outside versus, gosh, what would happen if we banished fears? Mind you, at least our own fears. And then had an awareness of what was going on around us, and other people's fears are just their fears. We don't have to own it. We don't have to try it on. We don't have to smell it. We don't have to even get anywhere close to it because we know what it is. So I am trying to mastermind something. Hi, Luann. I'm masterminding something that we could do as a group, as an individual, as we look forward to the next quarter that's coming up and the end of the year approaching. There's so much around us that's already like, we have this wall. It's almost like I see it as this like big wall of water, and it's just going to come splashing right through to us. How can we be proactive enough to say, hey, guess what? The tsunami is not hitting me. The tsunami is not getting anywhere close to me. I'm getting into a higher space, a higher level here where I am immune to this. I can watch it without getting wet with it. That sounds kind of bad, but okay. Sorry about that. You get the idea what I'm saying? So, what are some things that what about compassion? Hi, Sai. What about compassion of others' fears? True, true. But it ends up going there because once you don't get captivated in somebody else's condition, somebody else's emotions, or what's surrounding you. When you don't get into it and you found your high ground, you can have compassion for it. It's very hard to have compassion when you're part you're part of it. You're noticing it, you're feeling it, and it's right in your face and it's challenging you. And this and this and this and that, right? So when we think of fear, we think of all these things that are really bad because fear brings up. And when I was preparing for this webinar, it was so obvious to me fear and pain are best friends. We are afraid of things that we think are going to cause pain at some level. The pain is either real or perceived. And it's interesting because, um, sometimes we don't even know that something really is painful. We just know that maybe it could be painful, or other people told us it's painful, or this is a really bad thing. So then the story spins and spins and spins. I recall when physical pain, definitely none of us want physical pain. And that is enough to put us in fear because physical pain is pretty intense. And I, I actually broke my ankle many years ago and I had to have surgery. I mean, I was beyond traumatized and crying. I was beyond that. But when I came home, with everything is set to go, the doctor gave me these pills. My thing was, I don't want to feel any pain. I don't want to feel any pain. And I was afraid of feeling that pain enough that the doctor would give me pills. I didn't want to take those codeine pills. So I took Advils and I would take every 2 hours. I think it was 3 or 4 of them. I mean, I was really proactive, proactive about not feeling pain. And lo and behold, I ended up at the emergency room twice because my body could not handle those pills. My body could not handle those pills. But I didn't necessarily put two and two together. And then finally, when there was nothing, I didn't know what else to do. I'm like, the only thing I'm taking is these Advils. I'm like, all right, let's take the Advils away. And I just kind of braced myself. I'm like, if I'm going to feel pain, I'm going to have to get through this because I cannot keep on suffering, needing to go to the emergency room because this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong. So lo and behold, I stopped taking the pills and I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. There was hardly any discomfort with my foot. Hardly any discomfort. I had built myself up to what this fear was, what it could be, what it might be. And instead of just kind of, I took precautionary measures to make sure I do not get impacted, right? All of that added to the situation that I was in and wasn't healthy for me. So if I had just allowed myself not to get so panicked, I might have taken a lower dose. I might have not taken any for that matter. So I understand how it happened, and certainly I could understand that can happen to any of us. The point here is that sometimes we are afraid. We're so afraid of what might happen, what could happen, what other people say happens and how they feel about it, how I could we blow it up. So in this time and in the next month, my thing is going to be, what are our fears? What are our fears? And I'm going to hold you accountable and me accountable. We're going to take them one at a time. And we're going to slowly just kind of take the edge off of it, take the edge off of it. And at some point, be able to look at it and not even feel that fear because it's not painful. We're afraid. We create the pain by the way we think about it, the way we process it. And I can tell you from going through my own share of life that It's uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is not the same thing as I'm terrorized. This is horrible. It's uncomfortable, most of it. And you are resilient by nature. And when you get rid of fear, when we get rid of that in our lives, it's no longer a driving force. It's no longer a motivator. It no longer has power over you. Because I see when people are afraid, we cower, we shrink, we allow things to happen because we're not in our power. We feel helpless. So fear has so many repercussions. So many things stem from fear. When someone is afraid of a failure, they're insecure. Then they're insecure, then they wear that insecurity, then they think then they have to find other ways to not feel insecure, to make up for their insecurity. So it's always this dance that we play because in some way we're afraid of something. So the moment we start not being afraid, there is nothing that can take you down. There is nothing that can take me down. So it's funny because it's used as the fear itself puts you in a vulnerable position. The fear itself allows bad things to happen. The fear itself is causing the problem. So when we really kind of strengthen up, guess what? I might be afraid, I might be nervous. Strengthen up on purpose and move through something. When you come at it from that stronger angle, you move through it. It doesn't impact you the same way. So the the, the exercise is going to be in the next month. What is ours? What is out there? Because as an empath, and I bring this back to as an empath, you're going to get impacted if you don't know how to clear, if you haven't cleared yourself and you don't know how to clear. And if you allow that fear to stay and live within you, it will attract, it will make you smaller. It will attract more situations that make you afraid. So think of an energy container. If that container holds a lot of fear, now you're dealing with fear that's coming to you from this direction and this direction and this direction, and it's going to magnetize to you because the universe is your teacher. The moment you learn how to separate, release, face, transmute your fears, it's not getting attached to you anymore. It's not happening anymore. All right? So I hope this was helpful to you. It's just an introduction. It's a small teaching, but it's an important teaching. We are resilient. Fear is something we have built, we learned. We are afraid of pain because something or someone has power over us. And no, no. We could be surrounded in a very, very precarious, dangerous situation. But if we learn to keep our cool and not give in to fear, we will perform and we will survive and we will even thrive. Okay? So, those are my comments for today. I hope you guys all have an amazing weekend. And please, if you don't know where my group is, it's Empath Evolution Community. If you are in it, thank you for being here. We're on Facebook. There's a website, empathevolution.com. What I do is I help us strengthen, release emotional pain, and step into our own evolution so we can enjoy the quality of life. We can enjoy our greatest gift, which, by the way, it's not a little gift, it's a big gift. No need to be afraid of it. No need to diminish and to hide and to think it's painful to be a feeler. It's painful to be an empath. Yes, you get to know more things, but you're only in that place because you chose that on some level. There is some part of you that knows you're up to the task. Okay? Anyway, I'll let you all go. Thanks for being here and have a great day.